In the unfolding saga of our lives, where each chapter is etched with the highs of our triumphs and the lows of our trials, there lies a profound truth, often cloaked in the shadows of our struggles. It is in the crucible of pain that the most authentic version of ourselves emerges, sculpted by the relentless forces of life's challenges. But have you ever paused to ponder, amidst the whirlwind of your battles, that perhaps in your pain, you find the seeds of your greatest successes? Imagine, if you will, a piece of coal buried deep beneath the earth, subjected to unimaginable pressure. It is within this intense pressure, this adversity, that a diamond is born. Much like this diamond, it is within the depths of our challenges, in the heart of our pain, that our true strength, resilience, and capacity for success are forged. You see, pain is not just a harbinger of struggle. It is a call to action, a challenge to rise above, to transform our trials into triumphs. This journey, however arduous it may seem, is laden with opportunities for growth, learning, and profound personal transformation. It teaches us lessons that comfort and ease never could, sculpting us into individuals of depth, character, and substance. But how do we navigate this journey? How do we turn our pain into our most triumphant success? It begins with a shift in perspective, a willingness to look beyond the immediacy of our discomfort, to see the potential for growth that lies within our struggles. It requires us to embrace our pain, not as an adversary, but as a mentor, guiding us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and our potential. In embracing our pain, we must also cultivate resilience, the ability to withstand, to adapt, and to overcome. This resilience becomes our compass, guiding us through the darkest nights, leading us toward the light of new beginnings, new opportunities, and new successes. But this journey is not one we undertake alone. Along the way, we encounter fellow travelers, mentors, and guides who share their wisdom, their support, and their encouragement. They remind us that our pain, while personal, is also a universal experience, one that connects us to the broader tapestry of human existence. In our pain, we also discover the power of vulnerability, the courage to expose our wounds, to share our struggles, and in doing so, find strength in our shared humanity. This vulnerability opens the door to genuine connections, to relationships that provide support, understanding, and a sense of community. And so, as we stand at the threshold of our own challenges, let us remember that it is not the absence of pain that defines our success, but our response to it. It is not the weight of our burdens that shapes our destiny. It is in our pain that we uncover the resilience, the determination, and the courage to succeed. Let us embark on this journey, not with trepidation, but with determination, with the knowledge that our pain is not the end of our story, but the beginning. It is the crucible in which our greatest successes are forged, the foundation upon which our dreams are built, and the soil in which our aspirations take root and flourish. As we move forward, let us do so with the conviction that our pain, when embraced and understood, becomes our most powerful ally in the pursuit of success. Let us wield this ally with courage, with grace, and with the unshakable belief that within our pain lies the key to our greatest triumphs. In this journey, let us not seek to avoid the pain, but to understand it, to learn from it, and to use it as a stepping stone to reach the heights of our potential. For in the tapestry of life, it is often the threads of adversity that add the most vibrant colors, the deepest textures, and the most profound beauty. In the rich tapestry of our existence, each thread woven with the vibrant colors of joy, sorrow, triumph, and pain, it is essential to ponder the intricate dance between the latter two. Pain, often perceived as a mere antagonist in the narrative of our lives, holds within its grasp a transformative power, a catalyst for growth and an architect of resilience. It's within this understanding that we uncover the profound nature of pain and its indelible link to growth. Reflect for a moment on the seasons of nature, where the harshest winters give way to the most vibrant springs. Just as the soul must be broken to give birth to new life, so too must we sometimes be broken to unearth the seeds of our greatest potential. This is the essence of growth. It does not occur on the plateaus of comfort, but in the trenches of challenges and adversity. Pain, in its myriad forms, from the sting of failure to the agony of loss, is a universal human experience. Yet it's not the presence of pain that distinguishes one life from another, but the manner in which it's faced. It's here, in the heart of our battles, that we're offered a choice: to wilt under the weight of our pain, or to rise like the phoenix from the ashes, reborn and renewed. Growth, then, is not a passive process, a byproduct of time. It's an active pursuit, a deliberate journey through the fires of pain. It demands of us not merely endurance, but engagement. An engagement with our deepest fears, our most profound insecurities, and our harshest critics, both external and internal. It's in this engagement, this wrestling with our pain, that we discover our strength, our resilience, and our capacity to transcend our limitations. Consider the process of learning and endeavor synonymous with growth. It is often fraught with frustration, mistakes, and setbacks. Yet, it's precisely these challenges that stretch our minds, that force us to think in new ways, to adapt, and to evolve. The pain of not knowing, of grappling with the unknown, is the crucible in which our intellect and wisdom are forged. But growth is not merely an individual pursuit, it's a collective journey. Our personal pain and the growth that emerges from it have ripple effects, touching the lives of those around us, inspiring them, and often providing a beacon of hope and strength. Our stories of overcoming become part of a larger narrative, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. This is not to romanticize pain, to suggest that it's something to be sought out or glorified. Pain, in its acute moments, can be overwhelming, consuming, and profoundly lonely. Yet it's in the acknowledgement of this pain, not its denial, that we find the first steps toward growth. It's in the acceptance of pain as an integral part of the human experience that we begin to harness its power for our transformation. So how do we navigate this journey from pain to growth? It begins with perspective, with viewing our pain not as a harbinger of defeat, but as a harbinger of opportunity. It requires of us a shift in mindset, from seeing challenges as insurmountable obstacles to viewing them as puzzles to be solved, lessons to be learned. It also demands resilience, the ability to get back up when we're knocked down, to continue forward when every fiber of our being wants to retreat. This resilience is not an inherent trait, but a muscle strengthened through use, fortified by each challenge we face and overcome. Moreover, the journey from pain to growth is fueled by hope. The belief in a better tomorrow, in the possibility of healing, and in the potential for renewal. Hope is the light that guides us through the darkness, the anchor that holds us steady amidst the storm. As we stand in the midst of our pain, let us remember that it's not the end of our story, but a chapter. It's a chapter that, while painful, is rich with potential for growth, for learning, and for transformation. Let us embrace our pain, not as an enemy, but as a teacher, guiding us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves, our strengths, and our capacity for resilience. In the unfolding narrative of our lives, where each moment weaves together the fabric of our experiences, adversity emerges as a pivotal character. It's an unwelcome visitor that knocks on our door, unbidden and often unrewarded. Yet, within this very adversity lies a hidden gift, a key that can unlock untold strength, wisdom, and success. The true measure of our journey is not in the adversities we avoid, but in those we embrace and transcend. Consider for a moment the mighty oak tree, standing tall and proud. Its strength is not just a product of the tranquil days under the sun, but of the fierce storms it withstands, each tempest it faces, each gust of wind that tries to bend its branches only serves to deepen its roots, making it stronger and more resilient. Similarly, the adversities we face in life are not mere obstacles, but opportunities to grow deeper, to build resilience, and to rise stronger than before. Embracing adversity is not about developing a fondness for pain or seeking out hardship. It's about recognizing that within every challenge lies the potential for growth, learning, and transformation. It's about shifting our perspective to see adversity not as a barrier, but as a pathway to uncovering our true potential. But how does one embrace adversity? It begins with acceptance. Acceptance does not mean resignation or defeat. It means acknowledging the reality of the situation without judgment or resistance. It's understanding that while we may not have control over the external circumstances, we have control over how we respond to them. This acceptance is the first step in transforming adversity from a foe to an ally. Once we accept adversity, we can then learn to adapt. Adaptation is the art of finding new ways to move forward, even when the path we planned is blocked. It's about being creative, resourceful, and resilient in the face of challenges. It's about asking ourselves, what can I learn from this situation? How can I grow from this experience? These questions shift our focus from what we've lost to what we can gain. Embracing adversity also requires courage. The courage to step into the unknown, to confront our fears, and to take risks. It's the courage to be vulnerable, to share our struggles, and to ask for help when we need it. This courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow. It's in this courage that we find the strength to persevere, to keep pushing forward, even when the odds seem stacked against us. Moreover, embracing adversity is about cultivating gratitude. Gratitude in the midst of hardship may seem counterintuitive, but it's in recognizing the value in even the smallest moments of joy, the lessons learned, and the strength gained that we find the resilience to continue. Gratitude shifts our focus from what's going wrong to what's going right, fueling our journey with hope and positivity. But perhaps the most profound aspect of embracing adversity is the way it connects us to others. Our struggles, while deeply personal, are also universal. In sharing our stories of adversity and triumph, we forge bonds of empathy, understanding, and solidarity. We realize we are not alone in our journey, and in this realization, we find strength and support. As we navigate the terrain of our lives, let us remember that embracing adversity is not a journey we undertake alone. Alongside us are mentors, friends, and guides who offer wisdom, support, and companionship. Together, we learn that adversity, while challenging, is not insurmountable. It is a teacher, a builder, and a guide that pushes us toward our highest selves. In closing, let us approach adversity with open hearts and minds, ready to embrace the lessons it brings. Let us view each challenge as a stepping stone on our path to success, each setback as an opportunity to grow stronger, and each obstacle as a chance to deepen our resilience. For it is in embracing adversity that we uncover our true potential, achieve our greatest successes, and forge a legacy of strength, courage, and perseverance. In the journey of life, where each of us is both the sculptor and the marble, there exists a process of transformation, a metamorphosis that shapes us into the fullest expression of our being. This process, often ignited in the crucible of adversity, is not a path of ease and comfort, but one of challenge, resilience, and unwavering determination. Yet it is within this very process that we find the essence of our true strength, our undying spirit, and our capacity to transcend the ordinary, to reach heights previously unimagined. Imagine, if you will, the journey of a single seed planted deep within the earth. Enveloped in darkness, it might seem that its fate is sealed, bound to the confines of its shell. Yet within this seed lies a potential so vast that it defies the darkness, an innate drive to push through the soil and reach towards the light. This journey from seed to sapling, from darkness to light, mirrors our own process of transformation. It begins with an inner calling, a desire for growth that compels us to push beyond our current boundaries, to break free from the shells that confine us. The first step in this transformative journey is awareness. It is the recognition of our own potential, the acknowledgement of our desires and dreams, and the understanding that the path to achieving them is fraught with challenges. Yet it is this very awareness that lights the spark of change, that stirs within us the courage to step into the unknown. Following awareness is the stage of confrontation. It is here that we face our fears, our doubts, and the obstacles that stand in our way. This confrontation is not a battle waged with the world, but a dialogue with ourselves, a test of our resolve and commitment to our path. It is a crucial step in the process, for it is only by facing our challenges head on that we can truly overcome them. As we navigate the stage of confrontation, we enter the phase of adaptation. This is where the magic of transformation truly unfolds. Adaptation is the art of learning, of growing, and of evolving in response to our experiences. It is about adopting new strategies, acquiring new skills, and embracing new perspectives. It is in this phase that the seedling stretches towards the sun, drawing strength from its struggles, growing stronger and more resilient with each passing day. Yet the journey does not end with adaptation. The process of transformation is cyclical, a never-ending spiral of growth and change. As we evolve, we encounter new challenges, face new adversities, and embark on new paths of discovery. With each cycle, we shed layers of our old selves, revealing the essence of who we are meant to become. Throughout this process, it is essential to cultivate patience and self-compassion. Transformation is not an overnight occurrence, but a journey that unfolds over time. It requires us to be gentle with ourselves, to recognize that growth is a process of ebb and flow, of 2 steps forward and sometimes 1 step back. Moreover, this journey of transformation is not one we undertake alone. Along the way, we are supported by mentors, inspired by role models, and uplifted by a community of fellow travelers. These connections enrich our journey, providing guidance, encouragement, and a sense of belonging. They remind us that while our path is unique, the journey towards growth and transformation is a shared human experience. As we embrace the process of transformation, let us do so with an open heart and an unwavering spirit. Let us view each challenge as an opportunity for growth, each setback as a lesson in resilience, and each victory as a milestone on our path. Let us remember that in the heart of adversity lies the seed of our transformation, waiting to be nurtured, to break free from the soil, and to reach towards the light. In the grand landscape of human experience, where each twist and turn on the path of life brings with it its own unique set of challenges, there lies a profound, often overlooked teacher, pain. This teacher, though harsh and unforgiving at times, holds within its grasp lessons of immeasurable value, wisdom that, when harnessed, can propel us toward unparalleled growth and success. It is in the heart of our pain that we find the seeds of our greatest lessons, the keys to unlocking our fullest potential. Imagine, if you will, the process of refining gold. The ore is subjected to intense heat. The furnace's flames licking at its essence, purging it of its impurities. What emerges from this fiery trial is not the rough, unassuming rock that entered, but a material of untold value and beauty. Similarly, it is through the furnace of our pain that we are refined, our true strength, resilience, and character brought forth in all its brilliance. But how do we learn from pain? How do we extract wisdom from the wounds it inflicts upon us? The first step in this process is acceptance. This is not a resignation to our fate, but an acknowledgement of our reality. It's understanding that pain, while an unwelcome guest, is a part of our journey, a chapter in our story that, while difficult, is not devoid of meaning. Once we accept the presence of pain in our lives, we can then begin to reflect upon it. Reflection is the lens through which we examine our experiences, turning them over in our minds, seeking out the nuggets of wisdom buried within. It's asking ourselves, what can this pain teach me? How can this experience shape me into a better, stronger version of myself? This introspection requires courage, for it demands that we face our pain head on, that we delve into the depths of our discomfort with an open heart and mind. Through reflection, we arrive at the stage of learning. Here, the lessons of our pain begin to crystallize, forming the foundation upon which we build our path forward. These lessons are varied, encompassing everything from the discovery of our own inner strength to the understanding of our vulnerabilities, from the cultivation of empathy and compassion to the appreciation of life's fleeting beauty. Yet learning from pain is not a passive process. It requires action, the application of the lessons we've learned to our lives. This is where the true transformation occurs, where the abstract becomes concrete, where knowledge becomes wisdom. It's in the application of our pain's lessons that we begin to see changes in ourselves, in our relationships, and in our approach to life's challenges. Furthermore, learning from pain fosters resilience. With each challenge we overcome, with each lesson we learn, we build a reservoir of strength that prepares us for the trials yet to come. This resilience is not an impenetrable shield against future pain, but a wellspring of courage, a reminder that we have faced adversity before and emerged victorious. But perhaps the most profound lesson pain teaches us is the value of empathy and connection. Through our own experiences of pain, we develop a deeper understanding of the struggles of others, a shared sense of humanity that binds us together. This empathy enriches our relationships, fostering connections that are rooted in genuine understanding. As we journey through life, let us embrace pain not as an enemy, but as a teacher, a guide leading us toward deeper self-awareness, growth, and transformation. Let us approach our pain with openness, ready to extract the lessons it holds, to apply them to our lives and to share them with others. In the grand theater of life, where each act presents its own set of challenges and triumphs, the ability to stand resilient against the tempests of adversity is what distinguishes the ordinary from the extraordinary. Resilience, a quality as noble as it is necessary, is the bedrock upon which future success is built. It is the invisible armor that shields us not from the experience of pain, but from the lingering grasp of defeat. But how does one cultivate this indispensable trait? How do we fortify ourselves for the inevitable battles that lie ahead? Resilience is not inherited in the blood, but forged in the fires of our trials. It is a testament to our ability to endure, to adapt, and ultimately to thrive. The process of building resilience is akin to the cultivation of a garden. It requires patience care and the understanding that the most vibrant flowers often bloom from the most stubborn soil. The first step in nurturing this garden of resilience is the cultivation of a mindset grounded in positivity and purpose. This mindset is the seed from which resilience grows, nourished by the belief that every challenge faced is not a harbinger of defeat, but an opportunity for growth. It is the unwavering conviction that there is light beyond the darkness, and that every storm faced will eventually give way to clearer skies. But a seed alone does not a garden make. It requires the soil of self-awareness, the understanding of our own strengths and weaknesses, our triggers and our havens. It is in this soil that the seed of resilience takes root, strengthened by the knowledge of who we are and what we are capable of. This self-awareness allows us to approach challenges not as insurmountable obstacles, but as puzzles to be solved, lessons to be learned. As our garden begins to take shape, we must then turn our attention to the cultivation of adaptability, the ability to bend in the wind without breaking. Adaptability is the water that nourishes our garden, allowing it to thrive in an ever-changing landscape. It is the acknowledgement that the only constant in life is change, and the ability to navigate this change, to adjust our sails when the winds shift, is what enables us to persevere. Yet even the most well-tended garden requires the support of a strong network, a community that stands with us, offering shelter and sustenance. This network, be it family, friends, or mentors, is the trellis upon which our resilience climbs, supported and strengthened by the knowledge that we do not face our battles alone. It is in the sharing of our struggles and triumphs that our resilience is fortified, woven into a tapestry of collective strength. But resilience is not merely about enduring. It is about thriving. It requires not just the ability to withstand the storm, but to dance in the rain, to find joy and meaning in the midst of our trials. This ability to thrive, to find purpose in our pain, is the sunlight that allows our garden of resilience to bloom in a riot of color. As we tend to our garden, we must also remember to practice self-compassion, to be gentle with ourselves in moments of weakness, understanding that resilience is not about invincibility, but about growth. It is acknowledging that while we may falter, while we may fail, it is our ability to rise again that defines us. In closing, let us embrace the journey of building resilience as the profound opportunity it is. Let us view each challenge as a chance to grow stronger, each setback as a step forward in our journey of personal evolution. Let us cultivate a mindset of positivity and purpose. Ground ourselves in self-awareness, nurture our adaptability, lean on the strength of our community, and thrive in the pursuit of our passions. In the vast expanse of human endeavor, where dreams are chased with relentless fervor and the echoes of aspirations fill the air, there are stories that stand as beacons of hope, testaments to the indomitable spirit of the human will. These are the narratives of individuals who, in the face of pain and adversity, have not only persevered but have emerged triumphant, crafting legacies of success that inspire and uplift. Consider the tale of a young artist whose early life was marred by rejection and failure. Every stroke of his brush, every blend of color was met with criticism, his dreams dismissed by those who failed to see the genius within. Yet within this crucible of rejection, a resilient spirit was forged. Instead of succumbing to despair, he chose to embrace his pain, to let it fuel his passion rather than extinguish it. Today, his art fills the halls of the world's greatest museums, a vibrant testament to the triumph of perseverance over pain. Or ponder the journey of a scientist whose groundbreaking theories were once ridiculed by his peers. Dismissed as fanciful and without merit, he faced the pain of isolation, his vision unseen, his potential unacknowledged. But in the solitude of his study, he found strength, a resolve to pursue the truth, regardless of its reception. His persistence paved the way for discoveries that would alter the course of human history, proving that within the heart of pain lies the potential for unparalleled success. And let us not forget the entrepreneur whose early ventures were fraught with failure. Each attempt to build a business was met with setbacks, the pain of loss a constant companion. Yet it was in this dance with failure that the seeds of resilience were sown. With each defeat, lessons were learned, strategies refined, and a deeper understanding of success was forged. Today, their name is synonymous with innovation, a reminder that the path to success is often paved with the stones of failure. These stories, each unique, in its contours, share a common thread. Understanding that pain is not an end point, but a beginning. It is a catalyst for growth, a teacher whose lessons, though harsh, are invaluable. These individuals did not merely endure their pain. They engaged with it, questioned it, and ultimately transformed it into a source of strength. But the triumph over pain is not reserved for the exceptional few. It is a potential that resides within us all. It requires us to look beyond the immediate discomfort, to see pain as a sculptor, shaping us into more resilient, empathetic, and determined individuals. It asks of us to be patient, to trust in the process of our own becoming, to believe that within every moment of suffering, there is a lesson that can lead us to success. So as we navigate the challenges of our own lives, let us draw inspiration from these stories of triumph. Let us understand that our pain, while a part of our journey, does not define us. Instead, it is our response to this pain, our ability to transcend it, that shapes our path to success. In closing, remember that the narrative of triumph over pain is not written in the absence of struggle, but in the midst of it. It is a narrative that each of us has the power to author a story of resilience, growth, and ultimate success. Let us embrace our pain, not as a foe to be feared, but as a teacher, a guide leading us toward our greatest achievements. As we draw the curtain on this journey through the landscapes of pain, resilience, and transformation, let us carry with us not just the stories and lessons shared, but a renewed perspective on the role of adversity in our lives. Pain, though often viewed through a lens of negativity, emerges as an unlikely mentor, a guide that, though stern, leads us toward growth, understanding, and unparalleled success. In the narrative of life, each of us authors our own story, a tale punctuated by moments of joy and shadowed by periods of struggle. Yet, it is within these chapters of challenge that our character is defined, our spirit is tested, and our true potential is unveiled. It is here, in the crucible of adversity, that we discover not just who we are, but who we are capable of becoming. Embrace this journey of transformation with open arms, understanding that the path to success is often paved with trials. But these trials, these moments of pain, are not mere obstacles to be overcome. They are opportunities for growth, signposts guiding us toward our destiny. They remind us that success is not a destination but a journey, one that is enriched by every experience, every setback, and every triumph. As we move forward, let us do so with resilience as our compass and hope as our guide. Let us build from our pain a foundation strong enough to support our dreams, a resilience robust enough to weather any storm. Let us remember that in our struggles, we find our strength, and in our pain, we find the possibility for profound success. But this journey is not one we walk alone. Along the way, we are joined by fellow travelers, each with their own stories of pain and triumph. These connections, forged in the fires of shared experience, become our support network, a community that uplifts and empowers. Let us lean on one another, share our stories, and draw strength from the collective resilience of the human spirit. In closing, remember that the greatest successes often emerge from the deepest pain. It is in the moments of our greatest trials that we are offered the chance to shine the brightest, to rise above, and to emerge not just unscathed but transformed. This is the paradox of pain. It has the power to break us, but also the power to make us. So, as we step out into the world, let us carry with us the lessons learned, the strength gained, and the wisdom earned. Let us approach each new challenge not with fear, but with courage, not with despair, but with determination. Let us transform our pain into our platform, our adversity into our advantage. And as we write the continuing chapters of our own stories, let us do so with the knowledge that our pain is not the end of our narrative, but the beginning of our greatest success story. Let us be inspired by the countless tales of triumph that have come before us, and be motivated to add our own stories to the annals of those who have turned their pain into power, their struggles into success. In the end, it is not the absence of pain that defines our success, but how we choose to respond to it. It is our resilience, our ability to learn from our pain, and our determination to press forward that carved the path to our achievement. Let this be our legacy, a legacy of strength, of courage, and of indomitable spirit. Thank you for embarking on this journey, for opening your hearts to the lessons pain offers, and for embracing the transformative power of adversity. Together, let us step boldly into the future, ready to face whatever challenges may come, knowing that in our pain, we find the keys to our success, the foundation of our resilience, and the essence of our true potential. Here's to our journey, to our growth, and to our unyielding pursuit of success. In your pain, you succeed, and in your success, the world shines a little brighter. Let's now get to our last subject called leadership. We'll take about another 30 minutes here, cover some on leadership, and then we'll take our last short 10-minute break, and then we'll come back and finish up the day, finishing up leadership. The title of the weekend was called The Making of a Leader. And it takes a lot of things, really, for the skill of leadership. All the things we've talked about, the personal development side, and setting goals, being able to make plans, game plans, time management, communication, all of that is all part of the preparation and the continuing schooling and education of leadership. But now we're going to cover the subject per se, leadership. And I've got an interesting phrase to start with under leadership, and it goes like this. To attract other people, you must be attractive. And we've covered that, sort of sprinkled throughout the last couple of days. What you want, you attract. So to attract other people, you must be attractive. So a big part of the process of leadership is self-development. Not people development, but self-development. Leadership, the great challenge of the 80s. I call it. In all kinds of fields, science, politics, industry, education, sales. We do need some leadership in the sales field. We're still hearing some of the old cliches of the 30s, right? Roll the pencil across the table, and before it drops, they'll grab it and you ask them to sign. I mean, you know, we don't need those tricky things anymore. People are a lot more sophisticated. They're a lot brighter these days, right? The old sales tricks won't work, you know. True sales is an educational process. Let me tell you what I've got and how it works. See if you like it. And if I'm good at it, I'm sure you'll buy. If I'm not, I'm not sure. Let me try. Just honesty and sincerity and upfront and leveling with everybody. I tell you what's hard for other people to handle, total sincerity and honesty. I mean, what do you do with that? I mean, tricks, you can learn to be tricky. If somebody wants to spar, you can learn to spar. If somebody wants to dance and dodge, you can learn to dance and dodge. But what do you do with total honesty and total sincerity? See, that's hard. Schoaf said in the sales field at first, he said, just go out and be just totally sincere. So I did it. In those early days, somebody say, why should I buy from you? I said, because I need the sale. If I don't sell something soon, I'm in deep trouble. I couldn't believe what that disclosure would do for some people. Try total honesty, and that was total honest. If you don't buy, I'm in trouble. The guy says, well, okay, I'll buy, right? I mean, I couldn't believe it. If you got to, sell with tears in your eyes. See, I tell you why I'm troubled right now. I'm new at this, and I'm afraid if I don't tell it right, you won't buy, and you'll miss the opportunity. I wish this was a year from now. I know you'd buy, but Let me try my best. See, just honesty. What can somebody do with just honesty? After I'd make a sale, or try to make a sale, guy says, no, I'm really not interested. I'd say, look, I know now you're not going to buy, but would you give me some tips? I'm brand new at this sales. Would you give me some tips as to why you didn't buy? Is it because I'm new and I stumbled a little bit? Because I know you need the product. Did you not buy because I wasn't strong enough? Those are interesting questions, aren't they? That's called let's get right down to it. Now see, I was so simple back then in my presentation, I'd just ask, how come you didn't buy? I know you need it. Is it because I'm new? Guy says, well, yeah, probably about a year from now when you get better, I would have bought. Said, then I got, a little better at saying, well, why don't you go ahead and buy? Let's pretend it's a year from now. I don't know, just honesty. Just let it all hang out. Just tell it like it is. You just, being clever just isn't really the way to do it. Just honesty. Anyway, we need some of that kind of leadership, instructions, helping people these days. Here's another challenge for leadership, parents. A lot of parents are hoping someone else will exercise the leadership role. Teachers or the church or the school or the community. Somebody will take up the task of being the example of leadership. But this is a challenge for parents to take up themselves, to become leaders. Here's the real challenge for leadership. Leadership is the challenge to be something more than mediocre. The challenge to be something more than mediocre. It was said of Abraham Lincoln, when his mother died, he was at her bedside when she died, and her last words to him were, "Be somebody, Abe." And if that story is true, he must have taken it to heart. Be somebody. That's a good challenge. Be somebody. Be somebody wise. Be somebody strong. Strength is attractive. Be somebody kind. All of the attributes of leadership are a unique challenge. Now here's the real key. Learn to be strong but not rude. There's always the thin line that you have to watch and make sure you don't cross. Learn to be strong but not rude. The challenge is to be kind but not weak. Learn to be bold but not a bully. The challenge is to be humble but not timid. Be thoughtful but not lazy. Learn to be proud but not arrogant. That's a challenge. Learn to have humor without folly. It's okay to, tell funny stories, but the key in leadership is don't be silly, right? There's a difference between being silly and having humor. Okay, that's the challenge of leadership. Now, leadership should understand the 20%, 80% rule. And the 20%, 80% rule, I don't know exactly where it came from, but if you're going to be involved with people any amount of time or any number of people from whatever walks of life, you've got to understand what we call the 20%, 80% rule. And if you haven't heard it before, let me give it to you. The 20%, 80% rule says, it seems like, and that's a lot of things, right? It seems like 20% of the people do 80% of the business, and 80% of the people do 20%. It's just one of those strange things about life. And we can ask whys all day long. A lot of things you don't ask why. Let the obvious be your best teacher. Almost any enterprise, right? Whether it's a business or a club or whatever. Sure enough, 20% of the people do 80%, 80% do 20%. Ask the minister of the church, right? Who picks up the tab here? I'll bet you he will say, well, let's see, about 20% of the people pick up 80% of the tab. And 80% pick up 20%. It's just one of those interesting statistics about life, okay? Now, once you understand the 20%, 80% rule, here's what you must learn to do as a leader. Don't try to change it. This is not something you change. This is something you work with. See, there's a lot of things in life you don't change. You don't say, I think I'll take fall and put it after winter. Say, no, no, no. See, that's too difficult. You don't change fall around and put it after winter. You leave it where it is. But you learn to work with it like it is. Okay? The best beginning for any successful venture is reality. Let's figure out how it really is. And not kid ourselves. And not wish it was different. Okay? So we take the 20%, 80% rule like it is, and we learn to work with it. Now, here are some of the key points in understanding the 20%, 80% rule. If you wish to affect your business 80%, you must work with the 20%. It's just one of those things you just learn to work with. To affect your business 80%, you work with the 20% that are creating 80% of the business. Now, let me give you a neat part of life. The pull is in the opposite direction. And it always is. Here's what success is. Success is learning to move in the opposite direction of the normal negative pull. Success is just overcoming the normal negative downward trend. Because I guess that's what life was meant to be. Overcoming the normal negative downward pull. Success is moving in the opposite direction. Life that springs from the seed really is moving in the opposite direction. Gravity wants to pull the seed down, but sure enough, the seed being pulled down by the soil takes root, comes to life, right? Comes to life, takes root, starts to grow, and which way does it grow? Up, right? It gets the roots and the nourishment, but it grows up. It pushes its way against gravity, right? And it moves up, and that's what success is, that's what life is. Of movement in the opposite direction. So, guess who wants 80% of your attention? The wrong percentage. The 80% of whatever enterprise you're working with, you got a group of people going, 80% of them want 80% of your time. They say, well, we're the 80%. But see, you've got to learn to resist that. Now, you do it diplomatically. You do it with intelligence. But if you want to be successful, you got to do it. Okay? You've got to give 80% of your time to the 20% and 20% of your time to the 80%. Somebody says, well, now how do you do that? Well, now here's where you got to get smart. Here's what I learned to do with the 20%, 80% rule. I learned to give the 20% individual time and the 80% group time. I just figured that out. Right? Say, well, these 80% are only producing 20% of the business. So I've got to figure out a way to talk to them by groups. Now I can talk to an individual that's doing the high production, but I can only talk to the groups in these collection of people that are doing the small production. Okay? Now guess who wants your individual time? The wrong percentage. What you got to do is just diplomatically move in the opposite direction. You just diplomatically learn how to just give the group time to the 80%, individual time to the 20%. Now, this is not something you fight, it's something you work with. Guy says, oh, I got it made, here's what I will do. I'll just eliminate the 80%. Right? They're only getting 20% of the business anyway. I'll just get rid of them. And I'll just keep the 20%. Well, you can do that, but here's what will happen pretty soon. The people that you've got left after you have fired the 80%, sure enough, 20% of them will be doing 80% of the business. And 80% will be doing 20%. This is like the seasons. This is not something you try to rearrange. This is something you get smart enough to work with. Now, every leader must have some listening time to what's going on in the field, what's happening with the people. Here's what you must do with your listening time. You must give 80% of your listening time to the 20%. And 20% of your listening time to the 80%. Now, guess who wants 80% of your listening time? The wrong percentage. So you just have to learn to be diplomatic. Okay? It's incredible. This is something you learn to work with and not against. Now, what you do is just learn to capitalize on the way things are. To create the market, most people buy when it's high and sell when it's low. Right? That's normal. That's the normal scare. That's the normal being uneasy. Buy when it's high, sell when it's low. Guess who becomes wealthy? The people who move in the opposite direction. Now that takes tremendous strength of will and capacity and knowledge. And it doesn't mean you hit it every time, but it does mean your chances are much better to buy when it's low and sell when it's high. Right? That's what success is. Success is moving in the opposite of the normal negative downward pull. But what's unique about human enterprise is unique things can be accomplished by understanding the world setup, understanding how people are, and learning how to work with it and not against it. Now next, we'll cover this and then we'll take a little break. Leadership should understand the law of averages. One of the most important studies to study is the law of averages. And the reason is because everybody's affected by it. This side of the world, the other side of the world. Business is affected by it, social, personal, people, religious, doesn't matter what it is. We're all affected by the law of averages. The church is affected by it. The office is affected by it. The community is affected by it. The state's affected by it. The families, everybody's affected by the law of averages. So it's a good one to understand how it works, what's going on, so you're not disappointed and tipped over and upset. See, once you find out the truth, there's a Bible phrase that says, the truth sets you free. And it sets you free from animosity. It sets you free from being tipped over and bent out of shape. You just have to understand how it is. People used to cut me off on the freeway. I would go absolutely bonkers. I'm now chasing them down the freeway. See, I learned not to do that, right? Because some things are just frustration. They accomplish nothing. It's like saying liar shouldn't lie. Now, see, that's called idle conversation. Right? There's no use even talking about that. Because, see, liars are going to lie. You can say they shouldn't, but that won't help. Okay? Liars lie. Cheaters cheat. Thieves steal. And you can say they shouldn't, but that's called idle conversation. Understand how it is. Right? Some things are, it's just like it is. Once you understand that that's how it is, see, now that takes you off the hook from being bent out of shape, disappointed, frustrated, angry, you don't understand, you're all confused. See, once you know, then it just takes away all the confusion and the misunderstanding and the misreading. Now when somebody cuts you off on the freeway, see, you learn to handle that better. You tell them they shouldn't, see, that won't help, right? Because they're always going to do that. You know, if those people who cut you off on the freeway really tip you over, then you're going to be tipped over the rest of your life. Because those people are always going to do that. They're known as cutter-offers on the freeway. I mean, that's what they are. One of the best things is to take the simple approach. The guy says to me, well, this is happening to me, and this is happening to me, and this is happening to me. I do this, and then this happens, and then this goes wrong, and then this happens. How come all these things happen to me? I'm trying my best. I say, sir, I really don't know. The best experience I've got over the last 25 years especially is those kind of things always happen to people like you. I don't know. That's the best I can figure out. What you've got to consider is, if you wish for it to change, you must consider that perhaps you should change. See, if this is happening to me, maybe it's because it's the person I am. Now, some things are accidents, I understand that. But some things are attracted. You've just got to make sure that it wasn't just accident, that maybe you're becoming that kind of cynical person. Maybe unhappiness is attracting unhappiness. Maybe overdue sadness is attracting sadness, right? Maybe confusion attracts confusion. And it's true, whatever we are attracts, so we must take a look and see where we are. But the law of averages is unique. And of course, the best place to study all the laws is in the Bible. Here's what the law of averages says. If you do something often enough, you will get a ratio of results. A ratio. And that's one of the key words in leadership to remember. Everything has ratios. Now, what do we mean by ratios? Well, it concerns anything. Let's say you just joined a new company and you're out selling some new product. And you talk to 10 people. You're just brand new. You talk to 10 people. Say, I got this neat product. And you present it to 10 people. 9 say no. And 1 says yes. Now, already you've got your ratio going. And we call it 1 out of 10. That's fairly simple, right? No matter what you do, if you do it continuously for a while, you'll get a ratio. Some kind of ratio. Okay. In baseball, what do we call it? Batting average. See, if somebody's pitching, you're up there swinging, sure enough. Now, even if you're an amateur, if you keep swinging, you'll get one, right? The ball will hit your bat. I mean, right? You just get in the way. You know, you just do it often enough. But a ratio starts to develop, right? Now, here's an interesting question about the ratio. Who will this ratio work for? See, anybody can get a ratio started. That's a key word. Anyone can work on this ratio. Now, you might say, well, if you're getting started and 9 say no and 1 says yes, right, you're not doing that well. Well, see, at first you don't worry about doing well. At first you get a ratio going so that you can look at it and analyze it and see what's happening. That's why it's very important in sales we teach. Talk to lots of people every day, and at the end of the day, jot down your progress. This is why your journal is so important. At the end of the day, make a list of your progress. Here's what I did and here's what happened. So that you can go back over it and start analyzing it. So you can see what to fix and what to get on that's good and what to get off that's bad. But anybody can get one of these ratios going. Now, even those that say no are valuable because at first they listen to you practice your presentation, right? And we teach in sales, you don't want to make a sale, you want to become a salesperson. So these people who say no, they're listening to you practice. In fact, at first you might want to pay them. Say, here's $5, just listen to my presentation. I'm not that good at it yet. You know, whatever, right? To get this whole thing started. Now, this will work for anybody, 1 out of 10. Now, see, you can start to compete. Here's the next rule for the law of averages, the ratios. Once a ratio starts, it tends to continue. Once a ratio starts, it tends to continue. If you're just getting started, you talk to 10, 9 say no, 1 says yes. Here's what's exciting. Chances excellent, if you talk to 10 more, you get another one. It's uncanny. I don't even know how it works. All I know is it works. Sure enough, another one will say yes. And see, now, all you got to do is just do this 2 or 3 times. Talk to 10 more. Another one says yes. Now you know you're getting about 1 out of 10. And see, now you can start to compete. And that's one of the next best incentives, is competition. So get your ratios going so you can compete. Now, see, if I joined your company and I just got started, and you're so good you can get 9 out of 10, and I just started and I can only get 1 out of 10, because I just got there. If we have a contest for 30 days on sales, I will win. Somebody says, how would you do that? See, it's very simple. Since you're so good, you can get 9 out of 10, and the contest goes 30 days, while you're talking to 10 and getting 9, I will talk to 100 and get 10. So that when the month is over, you've got 9, I've got 10. I win. And that's one of my objectives, is to win. Now I have another objective. For you to lose. Because you learn a great deal by losing. And I wish to be your teacher. Competition, learning how to compete. What I do is make up for in numbers what I first lack in skill. Once you understand the law of averages, you can make up for in numbers what you first lack in skill. See, if I have to, I'll sleep 3 hours a day and work 21 or 20. I will, to win. Now, I can't do that forever. But if we've got something going, see, I'll just make up for in numbers. If I don't have the skill, I will make it up in numbers. Okay? Now you can start to compete, getting 1 out of 10. A ratio tends to continue. Now, who will it continue for? Anyone who tries, if you try. Okay? Now, here's the next key on the law of averages for the ratios. The ratio can be increased. Isn't that unique? You talk to 10, get 1. Talk to 10 more, get 1. Talk to 10 more, you get another one. Talk to 10 more, you get 2. Why is that? Why would about the 4th time you talk to 10, you get 2 instead of 1? You're getting better. Key question. Who can get better? Anyone who tries. See, that's exciting. Now, could you stay and work hard enough to get this ratio up to 3 or 4 out of 10? Is that possible? For who? Anyone. Could you stay long enough to be a pro, get 6, 7 out of 10? Is that possible? For who? Anyone. What's exciting to know is that capacity meeting opportunity can yield the most incredible results. And you have all the capacity that's necessary, and you're surrounded by opportunity. I mean, you lack nothing from where you sit to create enterprise and wealth and fortune and lifestyle, all the uniqueness you want. Being surrounded by opportunity and having unlimited capacity. I mean, what else would you ask for? Some people say, well, could you just bring it to me? Well, no. Okay. Now, there's a Bible story that teaches the law of averages. It's an interesting story called the parable of the sower. The parable of the sower, the story of the sower. And if you haven't read it for a while, it's an interesting, very interesting story to read. It's a great illustration of the law of averages, the parable of the sower. The sower in the ancient days was the guy that planted the crops. They called him the sower, right? They got the ground ready. I don't know just how they all got it all ready, right? But they got the ground ready. And this guy called the sower was the planter of the crops. And he would take a bag of seed, walk across the field, and he would, right, sow the seed and plant the crops. They called him the sower. Now, the story of the sower is a typical story of life and people and results and what you can expect, right? And then you let the obvious be your best teacher. Now, when you read the story of the sower, you'll come up with some interesting points. First, the sower was a wise man. And when you read the whole story, you'll come to the conclusion the sower was a wise man, which is a high advantage. Right? You don't want to send a dummy out to plant. Right? We will all starve come fall. Next point to the story was the sower had excellent seed. Excellent seed. Story says he had the best. He didn't settle for something cheap and second best. Third point to the story, he was highly ambitious. And when you read the whole story, you'll come to the conclusion this man was ambitious, which is an admirable quality. Ambition. And then he went to work. Guy says, oh, I knew there was a hitch in there somewhere. That's where it is probably, right? The guy goes to work. Now the story with the sower, with the excellent seed, highly ambitious, opportunity all around him, he has the capacity, he's got the seed, everything's ready, and he starts out to sow, to get some results. Now it's an interesting story about what happened to him. It's a typical story of life, but it's fascinating. Here's what it says. He starts out to sow the seed early in the morning, but the first part of the seed that he sows falls by the wayside, and the birds get it. He's sowing this good seed, highly ambitious man sowing this good seed, and the birds are grabbing it. He sows some more and the birds grab that. He sows some more and the birds grab that. Now, remember this is a typical story of life and people. Now, is that fairly typical? See, I got to tell you as a leader, the birds are going to get some of the seed. You get a hold of John. Let's say you're in real estate, right? Somebody here's in real estate. You get a hold of John. John says, hey, I'm looking for a change. I need a new occupation change. And I've heard about real estate. You say, John, come on over Friday night. We're going to have this orientation class. And we'll show you how to do it. Might be the new life for you. Earn the money you want to earn. Get your life turned around. Who knows what'll happen? John says, sounds great to me. I'll be there on Friday night. Learn all about it. I'll probably be one of your best salesmen. Say, okay, see you Friday night. Now, come Friday night, 7:30, supposed to start. John's not there. Say, well, maybe the traffic's a little heavy. So we wait till 7:45. About 8 o'clock, we come to the conclusion. What? He's not going to show. Question. What's happened since this unique conversation that you had with John, and you dropped on him this great idea, you've got the explanation, helped to change his life, he said he would agree to be there, and he's not there. What's probably happened between then and Friday night? The birds done got the boy. Got him. And who knows who the heck it might be, right? Maybe it's his brother-in-law, right? Says real estate, you're not going to mix up in that, are you? Talked him out of it. Or his plumber. Says, let me tell you about real estate. His plumber. Now, if you get the message back as to what happened, see, here's where you might get off track. There's a couple of things you can do when the birds are grabbing the seed. One is you can chase birds. Say those dirty birds, and away you go after the birds. You say, wait till I get a hold of his brother-in-law. I'll straighten him out. Tear him a new page. What does he know about real estate? His plumber. Now, see, you're off trying to straighten things out, rather than accepting it as it is. The best study of life is how it is, not how you wish it to be, not how you wish to rearrange it, how to take advantage of how it is. Some people would rather get even than to get ahead. They get off course. See, if you're off chasing birds, you have left the field. You're not sowing anymore. Now your chances go down instead of up. There's some things you don't try to cure. There's some things you ignore. Here's what it said this wise sower did. It said he ignored the birds, and he kept on sowing. How clever. There's some things you just got to accept. That's the way it is. So he keeps on sowing. And here's the key. If you keep sowing, you can sow more than the birds can get. But the birds are part of life. And don't press me why. I didn't arrange all this. I don't know. It's just the way it is. So he keeps on sowing. Now the story says this sower keeps on sowing. Now the seed falls on shallow ground, rocky ground, where the soil is shallow. And it says the little plant starts to grow. This time, the birds didn't get it. But the first hot day, these little plants wither and die. Now that's kind of disappointing, isn't it? But see, that's bound to happen. This time you recruit John. John says, I'll be one of your best. He doesn't show up at the third meeting. You say, where's John? Say, I don't know. Somebody said, boo. And he... When I went to high school, there were 400 and some in the... No. Yes, there were 400 and some in the freshman class. And 150 in the graduating class. Is that unusual? See, there's always more freshmen than seniors. What's that called? The law of averages. Life takes its inevitable toll. Everybody should stay and finish, right? Maybe they should, but they don't. And you've got to learn to take that into stride. See, otherwise you'll be bent out of shape, you'll be tipped over, you'll be frustrated, you will misread life, and you won't know what's happening. You've just got to understand, sometimes the seed falls on shallow ground. And it didn't say what to do about the shallow ground. It just said that's the way it is. And we have a tendency to say, I thought sure John would last a month. But sure enough, it's happened. Now you're going to be disappointed. Let me put this in here. When this doesn't work out, just as you've planned, you're going to be disappointed. But here's what you must learn to do as a leader. Learn to discipline your disappointment. That's very important. Because sometimes it's easy to say, well, Pete, he's quit. John, he's quit. I guess I'll quit. And you just follow instead of lead. You're going to be disappointed, so be disappointed, but don't let it kill you. And don't let it stack up. Just understand, that's the way it is. I wish he would have stayed. But I wish him the best, wherever he's gone. He didn't last, but so what? That's life. Now then, here's what it said the wise sower did. He kept on sowing. How clever. Now it says the seed falls on thorny ground. Guy says, well, how much of this trouble can you have? Well, hang on, it's not the end of the story. It says, now the seed falls on thorny ground, and the little plant starts to grow, but then the thorns choke it to death. Now, is that fairly typical? See, the thorns are going to get some. The little Bible story called the thorns the cares of life. Little cares, little duties that cheat people out of big opportunities. And it happens every day. And I don't know what to do about it. I called John up and I said, John, where were you last night? We had a meeting. John says, well, I can't make every meeting. I say, why not? John says, well, I got a lot of other things I got to do. I say, what are they? You won't believe the list John gave me for last night. The backyard fence was sagging and the dogs are about to get out. You just can't let your dogs run loose. The screen door had come off the hinges. You just can't let things fall apart. You got to take time and keep things fixed up. Some extra trash had piled up in the garage. You just can't let mountains of trash take over. You got to take time and haul out this stuff. On the phone, I can hear the thorns getting him. People letting little things cheat them out of big opportunities. Some people have the incredible ability to major in minor things. I drive through this little community. John's out there mowing his lawn, cussing the weeds, his face is red, and he's about to explode. I stop and I get out of the car. I say, John, what are you doing? He says, what does it look like I'm doing? I'm mowing this lousy lawn. I say, John, there's all kinds of little neighborhood boys around here. Mow your lawn. He says, well, they want $5. I'll mow it myself. Number one, there should be a law against cheating some little neighborhood boy out of $5. That should be a law. But see, the biggest cheat is letting little things cheat you out of major opportunities, called the thorns, the cares. But now what do you do about that? Well, see, I used to give classes on how not to let the thorns see, but that won't work. I mean, those classes won't help. Here's what it said this wise man did. He kept on sowing. How clever. He understood the law of averages. Keep sowing. Good people are not trained, they're found. You don't need much training, right, with good people. Find good people. Now, it says, finally, the seed falls on good ground. That's what it says, good. Somebody says, how do you find the good ground? Answer, keep looking. You'll recognize it when it comes by. You won't have to make something bad into something good. You'll recognize good when it comes by. Now, even the good ground, the story says, part of the good ground produced 30%, part of it produced 60%, and part of it produced 100%. Even the good ground. What's that called? The law of averages. The ratios. Where do they work? Everywhere. Who for? Everybody. Now what you must do is understand the ratios as a leader so that you learn how to work with them and not against them. Now see, I used to give classes here on how to do 100%, but see, that won't help. It's called frustration for the leader. Right? In the evening seminar I say, right, the key to management is don't send your ducks to Eagle School, right? And this is part of it here, right? It's learning where, what to do, and how to find the right people. What to do and how to find the right people. See, that's major. So, you let people who want to produce 30. They make a contribution to the whole, and the 60 and the 100. Now, here's the key question. How do you find the 100%ers? Answer. You got to go through the birds. You got to go through the hot weather getting some. You got to go through the shallow rocky soil. You got to talk to the 30 people, the 60 people, to find you the hundreds. Here's what we say. If you want a lot of seniors, you must load the freshman class. Okay? That's how you find seniors. You just load the freshman class. And there's a lot of things, you just watch the process. You don't try to change the process. You just share the story and watch what happens. Share the opportunity and watch. And you pick by watching what happens. You don't force, you don't make, and you don't change. You watch. So it's called act and share and watch and pick. Okay? Act and share and watch and pick. And what's smart is to pick 100%ers that become 100%ers. Right? You look like a hero. And you don't try to make 100%ers out of people who are not going to do very much. And see, that's not on them. Now, some people in one enterprise are going to do much better, in one enterprise than they are in another. But whatever enterprise you've got going, or whatever you're working with in the way of people, just understand the law of averages, and here's the key. Don't try to change it. Learn to work with it. Okay, is that helpful? The law of averages. I'm telling you, it'll save you a lot of heartache. It'll save you a lot of mistakes and a lot of errors and a lot of wondering and a lot of pondering. sleepless nights, agony. I mean, it just cures a whole lot of things once you understand the law of averages. Okay. Topic under leadership, how to build a successful team of people. Finding the right people is always a unique challenge. But that's where success comes from, the team effort. If you're going to put any kind of enterprise together that has a specific objective, being a national championship team or a business, an enterprise, a church, an organization, you've just got to find the right people. And this is how to build a successful team of people to accomplish a specific purpose. Now, if you don't have a specific purpose, then you can probably just use most anybody. But if you've got a purpose, you know, whether it's a sales purpose or an office purpose or a real estate purpose or a church purpose or a organization purpose or a championship team, right? If you're going to build an organization of people for a specific accomplishment, then you've got to have the right people. And let me just give you a little checklist we use around the world, trying to find the right people. First, there's a checklist of 3 things. First, you check interest. And checking a person's interest, there's probably several ways you can do it. One is, I guess, by resume. What someone has done in the past may indicate their interest for the future. But the best way really to check interest is face-to-face. You know, you just got to look at somebody and have them look back and get into conversation and talk about the enterprise and talk about, you know, the job description, you know, what it's all about, to find a person's true interest. Now, in the role of leadership, you do have to be cautioned that some people are going to try to fake you out. So you've got to get ready for that. But if you do it often enough, person to person, face to face, you can get good at really checking a person's true interest. I guess Jesus, master teacher, was the best at it. The story says one day a group came to him and said, Master, we wish to be your disciples. Jesus said, gentlemen, you have put your story on the wrong person. Because unfortunately, I can read your heart. They said, oh. See, they weren't wanting to be disciples. They had all kinds of trickery in mind, but that was the upfront show of interest. We wish to be your disciples. But see, he read them just right off the bat. Now, you might not get that good at it, right, to where you can read hearts. But I'll tell you what, though, if you will practice, if you'll be sensitive, if you'll look, if you won't miss anything, you can get very good at reading true interest, to really check that against what you hear in the conversation that's going on. Now, of course, here's where the woman comes in with her extra special gifts, right? See, if a man's having problems recruiting someone or talking to another man and he's not quite sure, then he just lets a woman sit in on the conversation and says, you just sit and listen while I talk to this gentleman, and then you'd give me your feelings. And sure enough, you know, she'll tell you. You know, when it's over, you just consult with her. Say, how'd you feel? She'll say, hey, I felt great. Or she will say, I don't think so, right? Because the women have this uncanny sense of danger or something doesn't ring a bell. But, you know, men can get good at it. But anybody who practices this art of really trying to judge true interest can get better and better at it. Now, no matter how good you get, you're still going to make some errors in judgment. Jesus said, I'll take you. And that was Judas. I mean, so you are going to make, some errors. Anyway. So that helps me, right, to know when I make some errors. Now, so first of all, you check interest. Here's the second thing you check is response. A person might be interested in the pay, or they might be interested in, the opportunity or the future, but you also have to check response. How they respond to the job description. Are they excited and eager about whatever it takes to do it to get the job done? If somebody says, you have to get there how early? You have to stay how late? Go home in the middle of the traffic? The breaks only, what was that again? 10 minutes? You just have to say, next, right? You just don't have the right person because the response is wrong. Then third thing you check to build a successful team of people is results. And I don't know any substitute for that. Finally, you must judge by results. Results must soon match quality. You might have a nice person, a good person, but unless you start getting early results, then you just don't have the right person. And it isn't that the wrong person may be a bad person. It's just that they are not the right person for the job, for the skill, for whatever needs to be accomplished. The great coach John Wooden, I'm sure, said to the supposedly skilled young basketball player, he says, sir, can you hit it from the corner? I got to have me a corner man who can hit it from the corner. And, well, how are we going to know if you can hit it from the corner? Right? John says, well, I'll just stand here, and you just fire away, and I'll count. That's how you finally tell. Just launch a few, and I'll just keep score here, because I got to have somebody who can in the corner. Now, finally, you got to judge by results. And the early part of activity doesn't need to be the final results. The results can be, did you make the calls? This job calls for at least 10 calls a day. So the next morning, we get the little sheet out, and I say, John, how many calls on that 10 did you make yesterday? John says, well, say, the well won't even fit in the box. And sure enough, I've got this indication John's going to come up with a story, and the story for sure won't fit in the box. I say, John, the box is too small for the story. All I need is a number. 1, 3, 5, 8, 7. Just give me the number and I'll put it in the box. See, finally, you must judge by results. Because that's the name of the game, right? Results. Now, we all need to give people time for results, but finally, you must judge by results. We don't judge by stories. We just let the numbers speak for themselves. We let the activity that we've set up. Now, make sure when you recruit somebody, put somebody on, and you're developing an organization, whatever you're doing, make sure everybody